8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Hey, what's up, fam? Welcome back to this episode of 49 Faithfully. We're your hosts, Miriah Lee and Teran Lewis. TL, what's up, my guy? How you doing?
What up? Oh, nothing much. Just chilling. Can't get ready to talk about this 49er football and this team and me being a little unhappy about a couple of things that's been going on. So yeah, I can't wait to get into it.
Sounds good. What's up, chat? Hope everybody's doing great on this. What the hell is today? Wednesday. Wow. We haven't done a show on Wednesday. It throws me off when we do a Wednesday show.
Yeah.
But yeah, what's up, chat? Hope everybody's doing well. Alberto, I see you. Tanya, what's up, sis? Don, what up? What up? Got 49ers throwback in the house. What's up, sir? Appreciate you as always. Dion, Niner Game Podcast. What's up? Hope everybody's doing great. So before we get into some of, the stuff you guys are here for, let me talk a little bit. Obviously, for those that don't know, I had went to this Raiders 49ers game. Shout out to my best childhood friend and her sister for inviting me with free tickets. So, of course, how could I turn that down?
For sure.
I was like, I'm going to make that work no matter what I got to do. So it was pretty cool. Walking in, like, so much red in the place. So, like, I'm like, okay, this is going to go good, right? We sit in our seats, and it's my best friend's sister. She has season tickets to the Raiders, but she's a 49ers fan. But the season tickets obviously are on the Raiders side, right? So we have Raiders fans all around us. I'm like, okay, they're all drinking. They're already being loud before the game even starts, right? I'm like, this is going to be interesting. And it's just us. It was us four, all ladies. And so, the Raiders are known for being like these gangster freaking, like we know how they get, especially they haven't had 49er Raider games in how long, because there's always fights and all this shit, shootings and stabbings, whatever the hell. So I'm like, okay, this can get really interesting, right? So it's all going good at first. The Raiders score their first touchdown, and the guy behind me, I don't know why, out of all people, he taps on my shoulder, but he taps on my shoulder and he goes, "That's what a touchdown looks like." I'm like, okay, all right. Well, obviously, then what am I going to say? Because we've seen what came out onto the field, the first drive, the second drive, the third drive. So we just have to sit there silent, right? Because what do we have to cheer about? So when I tell you that these Raider fans, by the time it got to like the third quarter, so, the start of the fourth quarter, were already celebrating like their team just won the freaking Super Bowl. It was crazy. They're like jumping up and down. Like you would not think they were at a preseason game. No way in hell. Like the guy in front of us, he's drinking like a Modelo, right? It's in a can. And I don't know why, but every time the Raiders would do something good, he would stand up, start screaming, and then hold his beer up. Like for everybody to see it. Like, what the hell? So yeah, there was quite some strange characters there, to say the least. And then we have to go out there and, yeah, it's preseason, but still get mollywopped by, the home team, the Raiders. Like, so walking out of that place was a nightmare because those people would not shut up. Like, they're just screaming Raiders the entire time, right? Just like 49ers fans would be if we would have won. But, like, this is how crazy their celebration was. My internet went out yesterday, and I was like, the Raider fans are acting like the Philly fans and probably brought the freaking internet polls down when they're celebrating their win over the 49ers this week. Like, that's how crazy the celebration was. So, yeah, I had to deal with that shit. But, a free game, getting to watch, our players play live, even though it wasn't obviously the starters and stuff. It was still awesome. It was the first time I've seen, obviously, Trey Lance play live, even though he didn't do fabulous. It was still, it was nice to see. I had to, like, there's so much, like, it's hard to watch a game and, like, live like that and, like, catch everything that's going on. And, like, they got so much shit going on in between, like, plays, like, in the actual stadium the Raiders have like a live band playing like the entire time, you know, like there's so much distraction going on. So I definitely had to come home and watch the game like again to actually see what was going on, you know, like for example, that the first field goal that Moody that he had missed, like we all thought that went in from our spot. Enough to where after it went to halftime and my best friend and her mom go to get drinks and stuff and they come back and they're looking at the score and they're like, did they take our points away? Like, what the hell happened? I thought we had 10 points. I'm like, no, he didn't make it. And they're like, what? Like everybody, even the Raiders fans around us all thought he made it. So it's like such a weird, like what you could actually see there on the field, you know? But yeah, it was a great time all in all. I wish that we would have won, like I said, but let me say what's up to some people. Joel, what's up? I see you. Carcast, what's good? What's good? Jess, East Coast, Red and Gold, what's up? Got Denise in the house. What's good? Bebopperoni. I think that's everybody. Yep. All right. So let's get started with the giveaway with the people that are here. You guys can hurry up and win it before anybody else gets here. Let's start off with a Fred Warner. I'm going to do the same thing this time. The winners I'm going to write down and you guys can go onto a wheel at the end. So try not to let one person win them all again. Try to be better guessers.
I don't see Izzy in here, so I guess they're lucky.
All right, so get those numbers in. First number, starting with Tanya, 25. Good luck, good luck. And then for the wheel, it's going to be for these two cards. They're both numbered. It's going to be George Kittle, which is numbered 133 out of 299. And then Debo is numbered 239 out of 249. So those are the two cards for the final wheel. All right, let's get into it. I want to first start off with something that came out yesterday. It was by Michael Lombardi. For those that know who that is, for those that don't, you're not missing much. Here's the thing. Trey Lance, we hear so much negativity about Trey, especially after this game, right? Even more so, I should say. But there's a difference between talking about somebody's play and something that you can back up with film and, you know, whatever he did out there on the field. Okay, talk about that. But to be somebody, especially somebody like, he's not new in this by any means, right? Like he's been around the football world, this guy. And you're going to take personal attacks on this kid in his 20s that's played a handful of freaking live games in his career. That's it. And you're going to take personal shots at him. So he made a video and had said, for those that don't know, about Trey Lance, when his mom lifted him up from the crib, he didn't have that quarterback instinct. So when I saw that yesterday, I'm just like, wow, like, you got to be freaking kidding me. From all accounts, everything that we've heard about him, about Trey Lance, is that he's smart as could be, right? That he has a high IQ. He picks up things fast. He picked up the playbook right away, blah, 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 on and on and on. But now you're going to say when he was picked up from the crib, so he was born without the quarterback instincts. Yeah, obviously the kid's playing quarterback for a living, right? So shout out to Jack Hammer, who asked Kyle about this today. And Kyle, being Kyle, answered it as, oh, well, you know, there's a lot of pressure and scrutiny on quarterbacks and early round, first round picks. So, you know, that comes with the territory. And he went on to say that, you know, Trey, they asked him, well, how's Trey at handling it, blah, blah, blah. And he's like, oh yeah, Trey, he's great at handling it. So this is coming, Trey Lance has already told us that he had to start talking to somebody to get his mentals in check in order to take care of himself, right? And, you're not only now seeing all the shit being said about you, because these players, they see it as much as they want to say, oh no, we don't see it. Like, Kittle's even talked about how his wife or somebody always sends him the negative things, and Kyle's talked about that too, how his wife always sends him the stuff. And so as much they might not be out there looking, specifically for that, but they're seeing it and they're on social media. It's just like how much more piles onto this kid's mentals before he just can't fucking take it anymore. You can say somebody's strong, oh, he's strong, and if he's that weak, he shouldn't be in the NFL, and yada, yada, yada. Like, this, there has to be a line. Like, and me personally, I think Michael Lombardi crossed that freaking line. What are your thoughts? What's up, Shay?
Well, first of all, Michael Lombardi, who was he to talk when he has failed as a GM? The man drafted like Barcavius Mingo, I think, top 10. And then, dude was out of the league in a few years. So who was he to sit here and try to talk about IQ? Your IQ was trash when you came to drafting players. So that's what I got to say to Michael Lombardi. And you know what? Shout out. Well, first of all, before I move to somebody who's not even on the team no more that came to bat for this young man, as much as I love Kyle Shanahan, he could be soft sometimes. Like, I'm sorry, like, to me, and I told you this off camera, to me, you attack one of my guys, I'm coming after you. I'm not saying after you like I'm trying to fight you. I'm coming after you as I'm gonna give you as much clap back as you did to my boy. You know what I mean? So the simple fact is, and I get it. Like I said, if you want to sit here and say, oh, I watched Trey Lance, he didn't look good, on Sunday. I feel like he needs to be a better processor. I'm fine with that. But when you sit here and you come out and you say, oh, when his mama picked him up out of the crib, he didn't have the football IQ to be a quarterback, the intelligence, like that's wild to me. So the simple fact is, Kyle just sit there and brush that off the shoulder. Oh, it comes with the scrutiny, this, and that. And what I'm about to say next is what pisses me off, because when you had the situation like you brought up off camera, Miriah, if people want to say, well, you look at Trey Lance, he really hasn't done much from this team. Okay, cool. You want to look at that? Fine. What has Javon Kinlaw done for this team? He's done nothing. But when Grant Cohn sit there and said that he had 80-year-old knees and that he's a bust so far, you had Eric Armstead and all these dudes come after Grant Cohn and say how unprofessional that was, this and that. But nobody can go to bat for somebody like Trey Lance. And that bothers me. Then his own teammates couldn't even go to bat. And then you got Raheem Mostert, who only played with Trey for a year, only as a rookie, didn't even play with him, to be honest. He was, like you said, Jimmy was the starter. Trey Lance was on the bench. You got somebody who's ain't been on the team for 2 years come to bat. This is what Raheem Mostert says. He clapped back at Michael Lombardi and said, hey, man, y'all need to stop disrespecting him like this. This is crossing the damn line. Everyone has something to say but can't back up their own BS. This is Raheem Mostert coming to bat for Trey Lance, somebody off the team for 2 years, and not one single person from what I've seen. If there has been somebody, let me know if I'm wrong. But not one teammate who's on the team now has said anything to Lombardi, which is sad. So that's what I have to feel about that. That comment right there is crazy. Like, if I'm somebody like David Lombardi, he needs to be slapped for saying something like that. Like, how dare you disrespect this 23-year-old man that's been working his tail off? So yeah, that's crazy to me. Like I said, the scrutiny he gets, like I said, Javon Kinlaw hasn't done nothing for this team. And I already told you, I've stopped calling people a bust, because if you can get to the highest level, of your profession, I tweeted it out. Only like 1,700 men a year can say that they're professional football players. So to get to that level, you're not a bust. You haven't lived up to expectations, maybe,
Right.
but you're not a bust, because Javon Kinlaw, Trey Lance are going to have more money than all of us probably put together on this timeline. So they have generational wealth. Trey Lance getting paid $9 million this year. I probably won't even see that in my lifetime. and this man's getting it in 16 weeks. So don't tell me somebody's a bust. But like I said, it's not like Javon Kinlaw is just some dude. He's not like he's DeForest Buckner and he was out there just killing it and then he got hurt and now he hasn't been able to contribute. No, he hasn't done nothing either. But it's funny how the team comes together for a Javon Kinlaw to clap back at a Grant Cohn, but won't come together and say something and give support to Trey Lance. That's, to me, that's sad. And I'll talk about Trey Lance and being in his future on his team a little bit later.
Let's say what's up to a couple people. We got Sim in the house. What's up, Sim? Appreciate you. Sim has been so loyal lately. I'm so proud of him.
Yes.
We got Steph in the house. Steph 49K. Make sure y'all are subscribed to my girl. If you're not already, me and Steph, as I broke the news last week, are going to be having a show every Thursday together now. So be on the lookout for that.
Sim, just real quick for Sim, Michael Lombardi said that Trey Lance's mom picked him out of the crib and they knew he didn't have the the intelligence to play quarterback in his league. Something along those lines.
The quarterback instincts.
Quarterback instincts, yeah. That he don't have the quarterback instincts that his mom knew when she picked him up out of the crib. That's what he said. Disrespectful. Like I said, I'm just a loyal cat. Like if it's me, if it's any, like I feel like I'm cool with pretty much everybody on this timeline. Like we're all family. If I'm sitting here and we're cool and somebody's saying something about Collie or about Shay or about Tanya, Steph, somebody says, if they're wrong, I'm going to come back at them. And that's not me because I'm coming to their aid. You're not going to disrespect people who I know I'm cool with and get away with it. I'm sorry. That's not how I get down. Maybe it's just me growing up in the streets. Maybe it's me being in the military and serving my country. We all got to go to bat for each other. And I'm not feeling that. Like for nobody to come to his aid, it's crazy to me.
Yeah, I agree. Miss Debbie. Hey, Miss Debbie. Appreciate you coming through. JDLR, what's good? What's good? I had said Shay already, but what's up, Shay? Yeah, get your numbers in because we're about to draw for Fred Warner in a minute. And then we're doing a wheel again for every winner. I'm going to put you on the list and you're going to get a spot in the final wheel. The final wheels for both these numbered cards, Debo and Kittle. So that'll be at the end of the show. Let me finish what I was doing here. Got Woke, Mike Ing in the house. What's up? What's up? Troy, good to see you. Hope you're doing well, my friends. Collie, what's up? What's up? Let me make sure. See, I told you she was going to try to sneak in and put her name all over the list. You guys let her already sneak in here. Hey, Melissa. We'll see if people are better guessers this week. Melissa killed it last episode. Is that everybody? Let me see. How about them Niners? What's good? We love you too, brother. David McNiner in the house. What's up? For those, if I missed you, I apologize, but the chat is flowing, which I appreciate, y'all. We're going to get into, before we get into criticizing all the bad stuff about this game, I do want to spotlight a couple people. So we'll do that in a minute. We're going to start with some people that attended Michigan, so we can get TL's thoughts on these people. But before we do that, let's draw this winner. Find out who number one will be on the list. Let me get my thing here. Because there's some Michigan people making some waves. Maybe some good waves, maybe some bad waves. But I will tell you that one of them obviously is going to be Ambry Thomas. And after watching his presser, like he looks like so much different, so much more mature. Like I don't know. He just seems different. Happy, maybe. I don't know. But he doesn't look like the Ambry Thomas that we seen last year, that's for sure.
No.
All right. Let me get this up here. You guys know my shit goes all crazy when I'm sharing this. So, All right. Good luck, everybody. Let's draw.
Ooh,
25.
I think Tanya guessed that on the first try. Oh, let me go back up and see that. Yep, we got a winner. Tanya with 25 on the money, and she was the first one to guess a number.
Thanks, sis. Congrats. Congrats. All right. So, Tanya, for guessing it exactly right, you get to pick one of these. So, let me know which one you want. You got
Ooh.
Sanders. These are stickers, by the way. Montana or the 49ers drip helmet. So let me know which one you want. I'll add that to your bag as well. Congrats, sis.
Shay said I'm the worst uncle.
And Tanya's going to be number one on the final wheel.
Hey Shay, you better watch your words, otherwise I'll make you go grab a switch off the tree so I can give you a whooping. You don't know nothing about that, getting a switch off the tree.
He might like that. You don't know.
I hope not.
You don't know about people these days.
Yeah. Tanya said she wants Deion Sanders.
All right. Those stickers are from my guy, Inspector Dabbit. Make sure you guys check out his gear. All right. So, congrats again, sis.
Real spill, Collie. Real spill on that one. Tell the cool aunt that'll take you to the strip joint.
Let's get our next giveaway going, and then we'll get on to some 49er talk. Let's go with CMC.
Oh, cool.
Get those numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck, everybody. All right. Few Michigan, 3 specifically Michigan players I would like to speak about. The first one, I brought him up earlier, so let's go with him. Jake, money or no money, Moody, makes his kicking debut for the 49ers for the NFL and misses both field goal attempts. He did make his extra point, thank goodness, or else, man, I'd be even more panicked right now. But what were your thoughts when you saw Moody come out and miss not only the first field goal, but then obviously the second one was longer, right? But the first one,
a 58-yarder.
Yeah, the first one, there should have been no reason to miss that. We see kickers make that in their sleep, especially somebody that they've ranted and raved about all offseason. Somebody that you draft in the third freaking round. I think most, and it might be different from you because, like I said, you're a Michigan fan. But most 49ers fans at that time, I think were cussing out Kyle because they're thinking, here we go, another blown third round draft pick. Not only was it crazy that you already drafted a kicker right in third round, but then he comes out and he misses both freaking kicks. So yeah, what were your thoughts when you watched that happen?
My first thought was this fan base is about to explode. First and foremost, I'm like, they're gonna trip. Oh, he's a bust. And this is what I will say. Last few years, I've realized we have and I don't know, I can't speak for other fan bases, but I don't see it as much, I guess. Like, I know a lot of people. And a lot of people I know are fans from all over the place. So we have the most impatient fan base I've ever met in my life. They're already talking about he was the wrong pick. Oh, we should have never drafted him. All this other stuff. He's a rookie too. You know what I mean? He's a rookie. Probably just getting the nerves out. It was his first time actually kicking in a active live game. I think he's just getting the sillies out. You know what I mean? I think he'll be okay. Just let him go. I mean, it's the same thing with the with the what's his name, Cameron Latu guy. You know what I mean? Like he's, it could be just nerves. And I said this before. I think I said it on Spaces. We got people. You remember 2 years ago, or was it 3 years ago now? Remember Jamar Chase when he was in preseason and training camp? He couldn't catch a cold. He was dropping everything. He was like, "Oh, the way the ball's coming at me, I'm not seeing it correctly." All this other stuff, and we know what Jamar Chase is today.
Mhm.
So and everybody's got the same thing with the Latu situation, but we have to be patient, fam. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, he missed a 40 yard. Like if he missing a 58 yarder, not too much of a concern because 58 yards is long. I don't know if you realize how far that is. But the 40 yarder, it seems like it should be a chip shot, so I get it. But like I said, it's just one of those things where we got to be patient, fam. Now, if he's doing this game 2, game 3 of preseason, then we're like, okay, man, there might be some concern. But at the same time, let's let this man get the sillies out. Like I said, it was his first game. He's a
Get the
rookie.
sillies out.
Yeah, just get the sillies out. You know what I mean? So just get the sillies out now, and I think he'll be fine when it comes September 10th. I think he'll be okay. Like I said, I'm gonna just say that it was nerves, and I just think that's what's going on with that. And like I said, and that's first thing I said when he missed it. Oh, fan base is gonna explode. That was my first thought. And just like what Cauley just brought up, what about Aaron Banks? Aaron Banks was considered a bust. Oh, we should have not drafted him. We should have drafted Asante Samuel Jr. Like it was just crazy. Everybody was getting pissed off, and then he comes in his first year as a starter in his second season and lit it up. So let's just be patient, fam. I don't know. Like I don't know what has transpired over the last like decade or whatever the case may be, but man, like it's just I think people like the Justin Herberts and the Patrick Mahomes has got people's same thing with Hufanga. Oh, I don't know. We need to replace. Like, come on, you guys. Like, we need to just chill. So that was my thought.
Okay, so Kyle had said that he wanted Zane and Jake to both be able to kick, but that after Jake, once he missed that first one, he wanted to give him another try, and obviously then he missed the second one and there wasn't another opportunity after that. So when Kyle talked about it, he said that this week he wants to see them, both get in there to kick, and that Zane's been too good to just, not give him the opportunity. Is there a world, we talked about last week specifically, we talked about teams that might need to trade for Zane because, their kickers aren't worth a shit. Could there be a world where Zane beats out our third round draft pick?
Even if he does, Jake Moody will be the one who's kept. I think when you draft a kicker in the third round, you have high hopes for him. I'm not saying he's going to be um can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head in Baltimore, but I'm not saying he's going to be like that, but they drafted him pretty high in hopes that he can be a kicker for the 10 to 15 years. So I think he'll be okay. I mean, like I said, I don't know. I mean, who knows? A few years ago, I used to always think like, if you're a draft pick, that you're safe. But now we're in a situation where now, we've gotten better. I feel, since 2018 or whatever you want to call it. Like, so well, Justin Tucker, thank you. Like, so I just don't think that's gonna happen. Like Shay just said, Kyle loves his third rounders. He don't care what the situation is. I think the only like I don't think in this since Kyle and John have been here, there hasn't been a third rounder who was kept who wasn't kept after there being a third round pick, at least for a year. So you even got like somebody like a Trey Sermon. Trey Sermon wasn't good, but in his second year, that they got rid of him. I don't think Jake Moody's going to be that guy who they're going to cut. So yeah, I don't think so. I think Zane Gonzalez is going to be the one who's either traded or somebody's going to. If he gets cut, somebody's going to pick him up right away. There's so many kickers, people out there with like the Cowboys, and we've seen the Cowboys go through it last year when their kicker missed 4 straight extra points. So I think they're looking for somebody as well. So yeah, no, he's not other than Fred Warner. You look at our third round picks, the Jalen Hurds, the Trey Sermons and stuff like that, the CJ Beathers. It's been horrendous. And I
Yeah.
think, hopefully they get it right. So yeah, I don't think there's a chance that Jake Moody gets cut, even if they feel Zane Gonzalez has been the better kicker, in my opinion.
What's up, twin? I see you. Hope you're doing well. XR, I think XR Free Me I'm going to go with. What's up? I see you. Let me see if I missed anybody. All right. Make sure everybody is in the giveaway for the Christian McCaffrey. We're going to do that shortly. This is what we're giving away right now. So make sure you're in there. Give you a couple more minutes. Let's talk a little bit about Ambry Thomas. Obviously, he, really came on at the end of his rookie season into the playoffs, right? And I think a lot of us were expecting him to come into his sophomore season and pick up where he left off, right, in his rookie season. And that wasn't the case at all. There were points in the season where, I was questioning, like, is this team going to end up just cutting him? Like, is he, have they completely lost all hope in this kid, or like, what's the deal? So he did a presser. And I wrote down a couple of things that I want to talk about, and then I'll get your thoughts on it. So some questions that they had asked him, and, we just spoke about the mentals of Trey Lance, and we speak about the mentals, obviously, of these players a lot on this show, because I think it's very important and something that's overlooked a lot, way too often. So Ambry had said that, they had asked him that, like, how is his confidence? Because they said he looked like more confident in this preseason game. And like I said, you could just tell he's like carrying himself different, right? Like I feel like the last couple of times we've seen him, and it's been so long since we've even got to, hear him talk, but he was just kind of like a shy kid, right? Like, but now he like stood up there like a man, like, I'm answering these questions, like, and was great. And so he said that with his confidence, that he feels that he's just getting back to who he is. He said last season he didn't feel like himself. And he said whether that was stuff going on inside the building or outside the building, he just didn't feel like himself. He says that mentally and physically he wasn't prepared for last season. He said he felt like the job was just given to him coming off of a strong rookie year. He said this year he feels like everyone's job is up for grabs, and that's how I looked at it starting in OTAs. And then he kind of talked about that they asked him something like, did he at any time last season feel like that maybe this wasn't for him? Like maybe he didn't have it, or, like couldn't hang in the NFL pretty much. And he says that he never thought that about himself, but he feels that and he said they, which obviously somebody in the 49ers, right? He feels that they thought that. So that he feels that, whoever the coaches, the staff, whatever, felt that he couldn't play high enough to play in the NFL. And so he said that, now he wants nothing more than to prove them wrong. He said that during this offseason, he took 2 to 3 weeks off, after the season ended. And after that, he was training every day in Dallas with Mooney Ward. And he said he spent the entire offseason training with him in Dallas. So, like, it just seems, like he's really, like, I think, like, it really maybe knocked, like, some sense into him where he thought maybe, oh, okay, I did good enough. I'm going to keep my roster spot. I'm a pretty high draft pick. They're not just going to kick me off to the side. And then once he's seen that happened, he's like, okay, I really need to get my shit into gear because, and you see the corner room is right. Like we saw Lenore step up. We're seeing, Womack, and it's just like, you have to be aware of that shit when you're in this position, right? Like if you don't step it up, you're going to be out the friggin' door. So like, I'm just really excited. And obviously with his play during the first preseason game, he looked great out there. Like he was one of the very few bright spots from that game. And like I said, it's hard to see everything in person. I had to rewatch the game. I remember specifically looking down at the field, and Ambry Thomas standing out from the rest of the players on the field. because he looked like he was just playing at a different level than everybody else. Oh, and before I let you go, one more thing that he said, in this D, you got to come up, because they were talking about one of his tackles that he had made. And he said, in this D, you got to come up and tackle or you won't play here.
Good.
So what are your thoughts on what you saw from Ambry Thomas? A lot of people had written him off and you were still holding hopes for him this entire time. So what are your thoughts on the whole Ambry Thomas situation right now?
Yeah, it's funny how you say that. How you said I've been holding on hopes for him. I'm kind of loyal to a fault. Like I'm not like I posted Miss Deb's comment because I just have I just don't like to give up on somebody so quickly. Like I feel like everybody has their own timeline, and I'm all for putting the best players on the field. So if you're only here for 2 years and somebody takes your job, so be it. You know what I mean? So be it. So I'm glad that this young man, he said what he said. Like, he came in thinking, oh, like, I played good, like started in the playoff games. He got that interception that was going to Odell Beckham to end the game. So he probably went in there with a little bit overconfidence, saying, oh, yeah, the job is mine. So I'm glad that he realized at a young age that, regardless of the situation, you should always stay hungry. I always had that mentality, somebody who was like myself, who started off working in the mailroom and worked their way up to management. I always stayed hungry, and I always had the mindset of like my job is never safe. Somebody's always gunning for you. Have that mentality every day in your life. Like somebody's going. That's why I always say sometimes on Twitter, be better today than you were yesterday. Always making a point to be better because there's always somebody gunning for you. So
Yeah.
I'm glad that he has the mindset of like, cool, like I went in there with some swag. Oh, this job is mine. And all of a sudden, Delmer Lenore was like, not so fast. So the fact that, and me and you, we brought this up before, how he had this comment when he first got drafted. It was like, oh yeah, it's expensive out here in the Bay Area, but I'm gonna let my playmaking take care of my pockets. Well, the last couple of years, your play hasn't been taking care of nothing. So hopefully now he's like has his mindset and he's more hungrier, he's more driven to where he's like, man, like this is, the NFL really does stand for not for long. And if you're not out there hungry every single year, and I feel like going into the year, it starts in the off season. The off season is what starts it. So the fact that he's out there and he's hungry, and I told you before, I think if anybody can get it out of him, it's Steve Wilkes.
Yeah.
If Steve Wilkes can come in here and get this man out of him, and I'm glad he said what he said. If you don't tackle, you don't play. Which to me, tackling is one thing that I remember playing high school football. That was one thing that our coach hated the most. He loved the big hits, but he hated the big hits that you try to hit somebody so hard, but then they kept their balance. He'd rather you make the safe play, you tackle, you wrap up, you slide all the way down and make sure that that opponent gets to the ground. That's more important than a big hit. So the fact that he's out there saying that he knows he needs to tackle well and all this stuff is great. You love to see it. So yeah, this cornerback competition is fierce. I agree with Collie. He outplayed Isaiah Oliver. I feel like he's more of an outside guy. So I think that DeArmond Lenore it's his job. But I feel like Ambry Thomas, he can get some snaps in nickel if he goes out there and shows what he can do because he has the speed, he has the hip movement. He was if he wouldn't have he set out the COVID year. He was anticipated going in the second round, but then he set out, fell to the third. So he has what it takes. Just does he have the mindset to put it all together? And that's what it comes down to.
Yeah, I guess the last couple of days in practice, they've been pulling Diamond Lenore to nickel and having Ambry play his outside spot. So, I mean, they're trying out different kind of packages. And, real quick, since, Isaiah Oliver was brought up, Shanahan and Steve Wilkes both talked about how that job's not his. A lot of us thought, okay, I think prior to them picking up Oliver, we were like under the impression, okay, it's either going to be Womack or, some of these other guys fighting for the job. But, once they picked up Isaiah Oliver, a lot of people were just already penciling him in as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
And, Shanahan and Wilkes are both like, not so fast because, they both talked about how he's done nothing to win the job. That, they want to see more consistency and that they have other guys that are fighting for it. So, I'm good. I love that. I don't think any of them should be just handed the freaking job. Everybody should be competing. Like, that's how the football team gets better. It's competition. We just specifically just talked about how Ambry had said, "Oh, I had played good enough ending my first season that I just figured the job was mine."
Yep.
So if you're not having these guys compete, they're just getting what's the word? Complacent. And it's just like, oh, the job's mine. I don't have to. Why do I have to do anything to get better? I'm not losing my job. It doesn't matter. Like, if I can put in 25% of the effort and just still keep my job, okay, well, I can spend 75% of my effort on something else. Instead of giving it all 100% of your effort because you're fighting every down for your job.
Yeah, and that's funny you say that too, because it's like, there's only maybe a handful of guys on every single roster that comes in that can be comfortable. Trent Williams, Fred Warner, George Kittle, only Christian McCaffrey, only a few people that you can say, because their work ethic, what they're going to do, how it's going to be, like it's funny because Ambry Thomas said, "Oh, I ended my season thinking, I was going to be that guy." He acted like he ended the season like he was Darius Slay or somebody.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a rookie coming. Yeah, you played good, but to sit here and think you're going to come in and have that, oh, this spot is mine and I have to do nothing to work for it is crazy. But I'm glad that his mentality has changed going into year 3. And he's like, nah, I got to clean up this mentality because nobody's job is safe.
Yep, I agree. Let's pick this winner for the CMC card. Get these giveaways going a little bit faster here. Let's make sure y'all are in there. Good luck, because we're drawing. 5 for Trey Lance.
Number 5. Let me see. Denise, 1 5 too many. Let me see. I see.
Who's going to get number 2 on the final
Closest
wheel?
I see so far is 13, but I'm going to double check.
I know, so it seems like a lot more people pick higher numbers than lower.
Yeah, let me see. If you want to look again, because these numbers are scattered all over the place. I see the highest so far being 13 by Bebop, but I'm going to check one more time.
All right. Give us a minute so we're not giving away somebody's giveaway to the wrong person.
Because we will get called out.
I see Bebop at 13.
Yeah, that's what I say. Yeah. Looks like that's like it's him.
Bebop-a-roni. Congrats. CMC is going into your bag.
Congratulations, Bebop. Bebop and Rocksteady. You don't know nothing about that, Miriah.
All right. Let's actually go with, how about some Danny Gray love?
Okay.
Danny Gray returned to practice, so that's good. I didn't even know he had got hurt. I'm like watching the game. I keep thinking, like, where the fuck's Danny Gray? Like, I keep missing him? Like, how am I missing him every single play? Like, why is he not playing? I'm watching, and I find out after the game that he was hurt. I'm like, oh, okay. Well, guess that's why I didn't see him play. But he returned to practice, so that's good now. And from all accounts, I mean, they keep saying his hands are looking better. He's catching everything. Maybe like put on some little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So let's go with this Danny Gray. Get your numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck, everybody. And Bebop goes on number 2 for the final wheel. All right. Our last Michigan player that I want to talk about. Ronnie Bell, who was on return duties, obviously, with Ray Ray being hurt.
Mm-hmm.
They were trying Bill at both kick return, punt return. Seemed like he was one of the favorite targets there throughout the game as well. He had one catch, obviously, that went through his hands and was intercepted.
Mm. Hey,
But other than that,
hold on, quick, Miriah. How about them Niners? You got to pick number 38. You got to change from number 38. It's already been taken by Denise above you. So pick another number.
hey JV, I see you. But other than that, like I thought he did great, for his first live action in an NFL game, Um, I really like him. Like I didn't know, obviously I don't watch, too much college football, but doing the draft show, with Breezy and them, obviously once he was drafted and Breezy kept talking about him the entire draft, I hope we get Ronnie Bell, hope we get Ronnie Bell. So I started, looking into him and I'm like, okay, like I could see like this kid got something, right? And so far, all reports, that he's been the guy during training camp, making all these circus catches. Seems, and I keep going back to this, it seems like maybe who they thought Pettis was going to be, kind of, But wow, like I was really surprised, and I was really surprised that he was in so much of the game plan. That the quarterbacks obviously seem to trust him already, so that's good. I'd like to see obviously Purdy, work with him and see how that looks. But like, man, I'm kind of excited for this kid. Like, I hopefully we know that the competition at wide receiver is really tight right now.
Yes.
But I can't see that him not making the roster. No way. But man, I liked what I seen from him. What are your thoughts, Ronnie Bell?
Same. I was on Spaces a couple of days ago, and Jamal Young Jaw was asking me about him. He was like, "Yeah, what's your thoughts on Ronnie Bell?" And I'm like, "Man, the dude's going to make this roster." And he was like, "Do you think there's any way that we can stash him on the practice squad?" I go, "Ain't no way. Like that dude is as good as gone if we put him on the practice squad." And saying that, to me, he's been a very impressive rookie. I actually had him with a 4th-round grade, and everybody kept telling me I was biased because he's a Michigan player. Like, no, the dude can ball. Dude's a baller, and if you watch that championship game, that playoff game, Michigan and TCU, he did his thing. Like he wasn't out there killing it. So yeah, he has hands. He runs very crisp routes. Like he has everything that you want in a football player, and the fact that he can return kicks and punches adds to his value. And saying that, he might be taking the job for Ray McCloud. I'm gonna, everybody says I'm crazy, but I remember when Kyle first got here and we started getting these young receivers, the Trent Taylors, the Jalen Hurds, and the the Dante Pettises. And I'm sorry, every time I hear his name, I gotta laugh. Like that dude it's just funny just thinking of Dante Pettis. And I told everybody, Jeremy Curley's gone. No, we need a veteran receiver. I go, he's gone because of simple fact. You're not gonna sacrifice losing young talent to keep somebody that's already older, especially when the playing field is, if you look at it, is pretty equal. So I look at Ray McCloud. He did some good things for us, but not nothing that gets you like overly excited. Like, oh man, we have to keep him. So if it comes down to it, and I think I mentioned this before, I think we keep 6 receivers. And if you're looking that you already got Debo and Ayuk as your savvy vets, but if you're looking for another vet that comes on as a second stringer, don't have to look no further than Chris Conley. And he's been playing his tail off. So with Ray being hurt 8 weeks, that might hurt him in a way, just because of the simple fact that we're not going to see him for 2 months. And the fact that we have these young receivers with the Danny Grays, the Tay Martins, all the stuff that are playing pretty good football as well, I think that could be a way to get Ray cut or maybe even traded, just because he has one more year on his deal. So, if I look at it, if I had to pick 6 receivers right now, Ayuk, Debo, Juwan Jennings, who I think is going to ball in a contract year. I think he's going to be out. Nobody's saying anything about Juwan Jennings right now. He's like the quiet man on the field right now. Debo, Ayuk, Juwan Jennings, Ronnie Bell, Danny Gray, and Chris Conley. Those are the 6 I think we keep on this team. And I think that Tay Martin will go to the practice squad. But Ronnie Bell, you're right. He's been looking good. He can beat you deep. He can beat you in the intermediate routes. And like I said, just the kickoff return, punt return value just adds to him. So I'm not saying it's guaranteed that Ray McCloud's going to get cut, but his chances are kind of slim with the way these young guys and the way Chris Conley has been competing on this field. But yeah, I love me some Ronnie Bell, especially because of the fact he went to the Michigan Wolverines. Go blue.
Yeah, and a couple of things. He had talked to the media as well, and I mean, you probably know this stuff, but I didn't know that his dad is a wide receivers college coach. And so Ronnie said that his dad has been, teaching him since he was a kid that, during summers, that's who he trains with, that, and he said that he only, because they had asked him, oh, you only, I think it was like 16 or some handful of, returns that he did during college. But he said that he's been like catching punts since he was 9 years old, but that's something that his dad always had him working in since as long as he can remember, since he was a kid. So he said that that's a natural thing for him now, even though he didn't do it so much in college. He said he did it in practice and he never missed. So I'm like, okay. He also said that they asked him about, oh, do you think about more about all your good plays that you had, or that one play that, obviously went through your hands and was intercepted? And he said, obviously that one bad play. And he said that he felt like a bad teammate because he put an interception on Allen's, numbers, because Allen was the quarterback at that time. So yeah, he's like, I felt like a bad teammate because I'm the one that put that interception on his stats. So yeah, I like him. What's up, Ryan? I see you. Everybody, make sure you're in there. We're going to draw the winner right now for this Danny Gray. Let's get in there. Going to pull it up right now. Told you we're doing it fast. All right. Get this shared. Get Shay, I swear.
Who? Oh.
Look at the chat. Your freaking nephew. Putting all these damn numbers in there.
I'm up at the top of the chat so I can see who put the number in first.
All right.
Like it's Izzy.
Good luck.
All right. Who is it?
Shay. All right. Good luck. Good luck.
Ooh,
82. Best year.
I think 79 a little bit better. John Taylor. Let me see. Okay, I got Tanya with 80. Tanya might clean up.
Dang.
Let me see. Got 87. He went over a little bit. 39. Shit. How you put 4 numbers and still lose? It's Tanya again with 80.
All right, Tanya. Congrats. So that means Tanya is number 1 and number 3 on the final wheel so far. Put this in your bag. Tanya already has 3 things in her bag from today.
Shay, I don't know if you watch this more, you would know this. You get 1 guess. You don't get 6 guesses and be like, "Oh, I got closest, I won." Nah, we don't get out like that. Sorry, brother. I know your last name is Lewis. I know your last name is Lewis, but you don't get no special privileges over here, bro.
Yeah, Miss Debbie, he cheated, so no, he didn't win. All right, so next one we're going to go with student Nick Bosa.
Okay.
Our missing in action defensive end. Nick Bosa, get your numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck. All right, let's talk a little bit about what we've seen from all the quarterbacks and where you're feeling the situation is. And not just with this game, like in training camp, all reports are that Brock Purdy's throwing an interception a day, at least. Now, obviously, we know he's going against one of the best defenses in the league, if not the best. And this is the time you want him working on things. Like, I'm all about, like, that's why I hate getting the numbers and everything from training camp, because I think it's just so stupid. Like, that's when they're supposed to be working on this shit. Mm-hmm. But, the topic is right now is how concerned everybody is that Brock Purdy's throwing these interceptions. Now, it's kind of divided where people are like, well, it's just practice. Who cares? Yada, yada. And then other people are like, okay, well, the way that you practice is the way you play, right? Then Shanahan comes out yesterday and says that Brock Purdy, for him to lose the starting job, he would have to melt in practice. Yes, and he can't see him melting in practice. So I'm just wondering, like, what would have to happen for what is considered melting in practice, first of all? Like, it's because they were in Vegas and it was hot. Like he had that on the brain, or because they asked Shanahan about the interceptions and he's just like, well, of course, I don't want the quarterbacks throwing them at all, but if you're going to make the mistakes, make them in practice, right? And I think a lot of people that I've, listened to and, read what they've had to say their concerns are because when Brock Purdy played last season, he had so many passes, right, that were almost picked off, which is another stupid stat that I hate, almost picked off, but almost intercepted. But I mean, once you put it all together, it's like, okay, so he was throwing these passes last season in real games that a lot of the defenders had their hands on, right? And they shouldn't have dropped. But we all know football is a big game of luck as well. So, I mean, that's what happens, right? You get good bounces, you get bad bounces. That's the shit that happens. So do you take all that in together that, okay, maybe Brock Purdy just is that type of quarterback, that he's going to be throwing interceptions this season? Or like, how are you feeling about that? Are you worried? You're not worried? You don't care what they're doing in practice, or where are you standing?
I feel like practice does matter, but I agree. This is when you work on stuff, you try new stuff to see if it works, stuff like that. But this is my issue, and I don't like almost intercepted either, because it didn't happen. What bothers me is that he literally did put ball in harm's way. Like that's a fact. The interceptions, yeah, they were dropped, so it's irrelevant. But the fact of the matter is, the ball was still in harm's way. And let's just say hypotheticals. If they were intercepted, okay, he would have went 13 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. I don't think people would have been talking about him being the real deal and, he has what it takes, whatever the case may be, because I feel like the outcomes might have been kind of different. You know what I mean? And then so right now, I feel like the pattern is just kind of being repeated. And now it just seems like in 2022, he was throwing almost interceptions. And now in 2023, he's throwing them. Only difference right now is the balls are being caught and they were being dropped last year. So that's my concern, but it's only a concern when it's happening in games, in my opinion. So if it's not happening in games, and if he goes, let's just say September 10th, week 1, he goes 2 touchdowns and 0 interceptions, then that means the concerns are going to go down, right? They're going to be like, oh, okay, like he cleaned that up. He's not throwing them now in real life games. So that's where the situation comes in at. But like I said, he does have that pattern of putting it in harm's way. I just hope that, like I said, right now he's regaining his arm strength. Everything is going to be okay. But at the same time, that's a great question what you asked. What is considered melting in practice? Like, what does he have to do? That's to throw 2-3 picks a game? Is he have to be? Because one thing I will say about Brock Purdy, I don't know if he has it to like take us to the next level to win the championship, but I feel like he has it in where he executes Kyle's offense exactly how he wants it to be done. And that's why he will be the starter until he flames out, because he does have quick reads. He's quick with his progressions, everything like that. So that's what makes him right now the better option in Kyle's offense than Trey, because he does the stuff that Kyle loves. You know what I'm saying? But so yeah, I don't know. It's I feel like the thing with Trey Lance, like, and I don't know how much you want to get into this, but I just feel at this point, just trade the young man, in my opinion. Just trade him. Because you know what? He was never welcomed, I guess you can say, in the first place. Like, we talked about that, I want to say last episode. Like, when the first game against Detroit, week one, it was 0-0. He came in through the first touchdown pass. Everybody remembers that, right? He scored our first touchdown of the season. And then, okay, cool. Like, you go in there, you're happy for the young man, this, and that. We play against the Packers. We're struggling mightily on offense in the red zone. We couldn't even score. Kyle says, "You know what, Jimmy, get to the bench real quick. I'm bringing in Trey Lance. He runs it in, touchdown. Gives us momentum going into the second half. For the players to go to Kyle and say, hey, you're undermining Jimmy. That, you're taking away his confidence. And mind you, a 7-year vet. You're taking away his confidence. You're undermining him. That's soft behavior. That's soft. And why would the players get mad that they scored a touchdown?
Yeah.
Why would that piss you off? So the fact that happened his rookie year, and the fact that like all players have pretty much just like seem like they never say anything positive about the young man. It's just, oh, he's a really cool guy. He's a really cool guy. I know Izzy's gonna hate this, but my guy Kyle Juszczyk, who I love as a football player, came out and says, "Oh, this locker room loves Trey. We love Trey in this locker room," which I believe they do, but I think they love Trey as a person and not as a quarterback. So right now, I don't think no matter what team he goes to, he won't start right now because everybody already has to start implementing. But I feel like while he's on this team, he's never going to get a fair shot. He's never going to get first team reps. They're just going to treat him like, oh, he's just some guy on the bench. So to eliminate all this controversy on this team, just get rid of the young man and let him get a fresh start somewhere. I would like to see him go somewhere like the New Orleans Saints, where Derek Carr is probably going to play 2 years and then be gone, and then just give him the full reins or whatever the case may be. Somebody who has a vet right now who's getting ready to be um, dismissed in a few years. You know what I mean? So that's what I see it as. It's just it's sad. Like me and you both have always been a fan of Trey Lance. It's just a simple fact that, and that sucks because, he came out on Sunday, like you say, he didn't play his best game. He had some nice throws. And then there was some throws where like, come on, Trey, you have to read the field faster. I saw this one play where he had Ross Dwelly and the flats wide open, but then he forced that ball. I want to say it was to Chris Conley over the middle, and it almost got picked off. Like, he needs to learn how to take what the defense gives him and just be like, here. And because and people hate this phrase, but when you dink and dunk, and you take the easy stuff, it opens up everything else.
Mhm.
And I feel like Trey has the capability, and I think he's going to be special still. I don't care what he's 23. I still think he'd be special. I just unfortunately don't think it's going to be here. You know what I'm saying? So I just think that he just needs to learn. And people don't give him the credit that everybody always says, like, oh, Brock Purdy's rusty. Brock Purdy's rusty. Well, isn't Trey Lance? He hasn't played since week 2 in a
Yeah,
live
that's what I
game.
tweeted out. Like,
Yeah, he hasn't played in a live game since September of 2022. Why doesn't he get a pass for being rusty? Oh, well, he got to throw in OTAs. Man, miss me with that. So now that counts when it fits your narrative. But when it's
mhm.
somebody else, that, oh, it's just practice. It's just practice. Oh, he's been throwing some OTA training camp. But this was live reps in a live game. He's rusty too, but he doesn't get that pass. You know what I'm saying? Which is foolishness. So anyway,
Yeah.
that's what I gotta say. As much as I love you, Trey Lance, like I was hoping for the best for you. I really feel like you got drafted to the wrong team. Nobody. You got too many vets like the Armsteads, the Trent Williams, the Kittles, who have tasted a Super Bowl almost victory, and they just went in there with, oh, I don't want anybody like Trey Lance to start. And then for me, I'm sorry, Kyle. You want to act like you're an alpha when it comes to like the media, and you want to
Mhm.
pop off with the mouth. But I'm sorry, this is my team. I drafted Trey Lance because I'm trying to get rid of Jimmy. I'm going to start him as a rookie. We came off a 6-10 season. I want to start this man. But the fact that, oh, well, we're in a win now. Remember they had that phrase, run it back, run it back, run it back to what? You lost the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
What are you running it back
Stupid.
to? You lost. So the fact that he let the team undermine him and dictate who starts at quarterback is the reason why we're in this mess right now. And when he was putting in packages for Trey Lance and saying, "Hey, I want you to come in the red zone," you're throwing the defense off. When they start bringing in stuff like that, when you start bringing in these packages, if I'm Kyle, I'm like, shut your mouths. We scored touchdowns when I brought in Trey Lance in the red zone to throw off the defense. So don't tell me what I need to do to run this offense. So yeah, it's been they botched this quarterback situation so much that where Trey Lance hasn't even got a fair shake. He's getting called a bust after 4 starts, been injured, 2 or 3 times. So it's unfortunate for this young man. Get rid of him, give him a fresh start, and let's just roll with Purdy because that's what you say. He's the real deal. You say he has what it takes. Kyle said after 3 games, he knew he had it. Okay, well then get rid of Trey, get rid of the distraction, give him a fresh start, and let him go be great somewhere else because I feel like he has the capability and the IQ, regardless of what Michael Lombardi says, that he can be a good quarterback in this league.
Yeah, I mean, he has to have something, right? He got drafted number 3 overall. Let's not just act like the kid's just a freaking dumbass, that if you can still get drafted number 3 after overall with all this negative that they're saying about him, only played 1 year in a college that's, nothing, and played with shit defenders and all this that they all, crap on him about, yet he still managed to get drafted 3 overall somehow. There had to be something that somebody saw in him, right? Like, and it came out today. I'm about to draw this winner right now, but as we do that, it came out today that Kyle, and who knows, people are just pulling shit out of their ass to write about these days, but the report was that Kyle wanted Trey Lance, but John Lynch wanted Justin Fields. And obviously we know that, right? John Lynch had said, well, ultimately the decision's Kyle's. He runs the offense, he makes the decision, blah, blah, blah.
Mm-hmm.
But And I personally, I've always been under the belief when it comes to, people always saying Kyle didn't even want Trey Lance, blah, blah, blah. That's where I've always stuck on it because I couldn't see this team drafting anybody for a quarterback that Kyle didn't give that final, okay, this is who I want.
Exactly.
Right. But then it's like so hard, but because I'm battling myself with it, because at the same time, it's just like, you've done nothing to show us that you actually like this kid. From the time we heard, he was making up plays on the plane ride from Justin Fields pro day, yada, 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 for Trey Lance. We haven't seen the plays yet. And since then, that was like the last bit of confidence that we had that he even liked Trey Lance. Like, I feel like he's done nothing to show us that. And yeah, obviously Trey Lance hasn't helped himself either. The biggest thing I said last week was that Trey Lance needed to come out in this preseason game, regardless of what shitty situation he was put in, regardless what shitty players were around him, he needed to come out and ball the fuck out. Do what you need to do to show them why you deserve a spot on this roster or anybody's roster. And unfortunately, he didn't do that. I love the kid, but he didn't do that. So he's not helping himself either, right?
No, he's not helping himself. Like I said, and two, I'm not gonna sit here and make excuses for the young man, all this other stuff. But like I said, he needs to clean up the stuff that Kyle likes. He needs to sit back and realize, like, okay, I said this before, him sitting on the bench, I feel like was a blessing in disguise when he broke his ankle, because at least he's on the sidelines looking at these games from 2 different quarterbacks, Jimmy and Brock, and saying, okay, look, I see what they're doing right. I see what Kyle's looks like. He likes the 10-yard slants. He likes the screens, whatever the case may be. So I felt like that was his opportunity to sit back and just be like, okay, I got it now. I got it. I know what Kyle wants, and that's what he wants to work on. Yeah, he didn't do himself any favors. But like I said, too, it's like, it's not an excuse. It's a fact. This was his first live game in almost a year. He didn't do himself any favors. The old line didn't do him any favors. So yeah, he didn't help himself out either. But like I said, he needs to go out there and be his own advocate, because nobody else is going to advocate for it, not going to put him on a pedestal until he shows them he can do what Kyle likes.
Yep, exactly. I have something else to say, but I know my internet's crap right now. So let me draw this winner real quick. Okay. All right. Let's draw for Nicholas Bosa. Good luck. What? How else could that be? 97. All right. Now my number finder is gone. So let me scroll and look. I see Twin. He got it backwards. He meant 97, but dyslexia. We got 97. Miking, congrats. And you guessed it exactly right. Are you still here? So I can have you
So
pick
what?
one of these. Mike Ing won. The number for
Did
Nick
he?
Bosa's giveaway was 97.
Oh, cool. Oh,
And
wow.
Mike had guessed it exactly right.
Okay, cool.
All right, Mike. So you get to pick. I see you. Pick out of these what you want as your extra gift. We got the drip helmet. We have the Montana. And we have the Birth of a Dynasty sticker as well. Shout out to Nothing But Niners. That's where this came from. Shout out to my guy, Inspector Dabbit. That's where these came from. Let me know what you want, Mike. Did you see? I had left it up there that your family's in the chat.
Yeah,
Your
so
mom, your sister, your brother.
my brother, all from Texas. Yep.
The whole
That's all.
Texas family. We appreciate y'all.
And he's literally in cowboy country because they live in the middle of Fort Worth and Fort Worth and Dallas. They're right in the thick of things, so it sucks.
All right, Montana, Mike picked. Congrats, Mike. And that also puts Mike at number 4 on the giveaway wheel. Let's get through these next 2 giveaways real fast so we can hurry up and fill these spots and get the other ones done. All right, let's go with how about Drake Jackson? Get the numbers in 1 through 100. Good luck, everybody. Drake Jackson. It's going to be a fast one, so get your numbers in fast. And this will be for number 5 on the final wheel. What was I going to say? I remember I said I have something to say about that. Oh, when Trey was drafted, before even the draft, they kept saying, oh, whoever's drafted to the 49ers is going into the best position. Whatever quarterback they get is going into the best position because they got to just plug in a quarterback. They have the rest of the team around him, right? Where, normal teams, when a new GM, a new head coach start over somewhere, they go and they get their quarterback. They draft their quarterback, right? And then they build their team around that quarterback.
Mm-hmm.
We're seeing right now the Jets, they had drafted their quarterback. Obviously, he wasn't who they wanted him to be, right? So they have a pretty good team around him, yet they went out and they traded for a vet and got a vet to come run the team. Like, that's where I'm at right now, is that I wish the 49ers had just traded for a vet. And I know that they tried, right, with what's his nuts that went to the Rams and, whatever.
Stafford, they wanted Deshaun Watson before his antics.
You should have tried freaking harder, because Tom Brady wanted to come before he went to Tampa Bay and won a freaking Super Bowl there. There was quarterbacks. Aaron Rodgers wanted to come here. He's telling the 49ers, I want to go there. Like, you have these quarterbacks that want to specifically play for the 49ers, and yet we're just going to keep building this huge team and have no quarterback and keep falling short because we have mid at quarterback. And then we're going to go draft a guy that's not ready. From all accounts, every single person has said that Trey Lance wasn't ready coming out of college, right? Yet you still draft him for a win now fucking team. So it's like the process just hasn't made sense from the beginning. Like, why did you draft him? Like, yeah, that's who I wanted us to draft because
Yeah,
I
for sure.
wanted Trey to be that guy that we could have just plugged in there and him came to life once he was put into this team, once he was put into this offense. But unfortunately, shit's happened and that hasn't been the situation. But it's like you went about things backwards anyways. You traded for this guy and paid him money, and he wasn't a vet. He wasn't an established vet, Jimmy. You saw him for a handful of games. You give him all this money. And after he didn't work, like I just wish that they would have found a vet to put into that spot instead of, drafting this young guy, screwing up his freaking career. Now he's getting called a bust and all this shit's happening to him. And it's just like, okay, now right your wrongs, trade him. If you're not going to give him the opportunity, the kid has said from the day one of this training camp, I just want the opportunity to compete. Well, he wasn't given that to compete for the backup, but not the starter. Like they keep telling us clearly, and all the Trey Lance fans can deny it all you want because you're just not listening to what they're telling us. That Brock Purdy is their fucking guy.
Yeah.
Unless Brock gets hurt, knock on wood, because I don't want to see that happen to anybody. That's the only way we're going to see Trey Lance play for this team. So why do that to the kid? Let him go. Trade into the Vikings.
Yeah, and be in his hometown. Yeah.
Trade him to a team that's going to let him play and work out all these ups and downs and everything that he needs to play through because he needs reps. We've seen that in this preseason game. He needed freaking reps. So why, like, they're tearing apart the fucking fan bases and fucking shambles.
Yeah.
The players, like, they're not even coming to be behind the kid at all, whatever. Like, from everything that we've talked about, like, most of the team doesn't want him there either.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It's just a shitty situation to be in when, like for fans too, like, because I just feel so bad for the kid. And you could say, oh, he's supposed to be tough. He's this, he's that. If he can't hang, then he doesn't deserve to be in the NFL and all this shit. But there comes a time when enough has to be a fucking enough.
Yeah, I'm in total agreement with you. Yeah, just like you said, everybody thought like, oh, especially too, because Kyle was hyping him up, like you said, on the, I have all these these plays that I made on the plane coming back from Justin Fields Pro Day. I have all this stuff that I feel like I have these visions that I have with Lance and all this other stuff. And like I said, we barely got to see him. And like I said, I really feel, and you're right, going back to what you said, a few segments ago, it's hard to really grasp that Kyle having the very first time to get his quarterback didn't get the guy he wanted. If he has a final man say for the 53-man roster, I just don't understand how he would be able, like he did not pick the guy he wanted. But like I said, I feel like I honestly feel, and this is just my opinion, that he had every intention of drafting Trey and wanted him to start after they started 6-10. I feel like the starting of when we finished the season 6-10, that was a perfect segue to go into Trey Lance and say, okay, cool, let's start him. There's no expectation. We'll come off a terrible season, so the expectation. And then when you had everybody go to Kyle and say, "Oh, let's run it back. Let's run it back. Let's run it back. Win now more. Win now more." And I feel like Kyle let the locker room get into his head to where he's like, "Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and start the guy who everybody else wants." That's how we started bringing back like the K1 Williamses. Remember, we brought back all these vets on those 1-year deals, thinking we're gonna go back to the Super Bowl. You know what I mean? And then it didn't happen. So then, like, you wasted that whole year of reps. You know what I'm saying? So it's just unfortunate for the kid. He needs reps. He's not going to get the reps he needs here because who even knows? Like, from all accounts, they might be looking at um, Darnold and saying he's the QB2. Like, we don't know. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's just it's unfortunate. I want him to go somewhere where the team's not the team is behind him and are happy to have him on the team and are willing to work with him.
Yep. Let's draw this. Drake Jackson, good luck.
Six. Okay.
And I'm a winner. Hey, Avion, I see you. What's up, Rick? After we get this winner, we'll do the final giveaway, the sixth one. Get our 6 spots filled. Then we'll do the giveaway wheel.
JV's the winner with 5.
Out of here. JV, and you are number 5 on the wheel, sir. Congrats, brother. All right, so for the final one, let's do so much talk around the young gentleman. Let's do Trey Lance. Okay, I'm not going to cut this right now, so you just have to see it through the plastic. Get your numbers in 1 through 100. Trey Lance, the final giveaway. The last spot on the wheel. Congrats again, JV. All right. Something else from this game I want to talk about, and another competition that is kind of crazy right now, and that's the tight ends. During this game, it seemed like Dwelly was a big part of the game plan during the first, pretty much the time that Trey Lance was out there. He made some good plays. He made some, he looked like Dwelly that we've come to know, right?
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, we know Latu, we talked about him earlier, has been dropping all these passes. He actually had a catch during the game, so good for him. But this tight end battle, like we've been wanting to fill these tight ends, right, behind George Kittle so bad. And like we just keep getting like behind him, right? Like I was so excited. Okay, finally we're drafting the deepest tight end class in how long, yada, yada, yada. We draft 2 tight ends. Well, the first one they draft, everybody was kind of like, okay, this is kind of crazy, right? Like they all thought that like we should have switched them. Like, that Latu should have been our last tight end picked. And he has played like that, like he hasn't been great at all. But people from training camp are saying that his blocking, and his one-on-one reps is great. Okay, so there's that. He can block. Watching this game back, Dwelly, he has not even 1% better in blocking, I feel like. Like, I feel like every time he's out there on the line to block, just forget about it. Like, somebody's going to be like pretty much a free runner right to the freaking quarterback. Like, and it's so sad. There was like one play where we had double tight ends on one end, it's supposed to be staying in the block. Both of them go and both of their defenders run right past them. They're standing there not blocking anybody. Both of you. And I think it was Dwelly and freaking Warner. And it's just like, Fumagalli had a really nice catch. He's still keeping his name in the competition, but I was under the impression that we were going to keep maybe George Kittle and the 2 younger guys, just because, we talked about the final years of contract, keep the younger guys, yada, yada, yada. But with the way Latu has been performing, and it seems like they're still trying to use Dwelly, do you think they're just trying to see maybe Dwelly gives them something to keep hanging on to him? Or do you think we're going to be stuck with Dwelly on this team again, is where I'm going?
It's kind of hard to say. I think it's going to take me one more preseason game to figure it out. But yeah, you're right. We've been looking to get get a nice tight end. Like, I miss the duel of Vernon Davis and Delaney Walker. I couldn't think of his name right. Delaney Walker. That was a dynamic duo. We're looking for that. I think that Latu has the potential to do that, but man, Braden Willis looks nice. So yeah, I don't know. Every time we count out Ross Dwelly, he ends up making his roster. We always think, oh, he'll be gone. Like when we drafted Charlie Warner, oh, he'll probably be gone.
Yeah,
and the man sticks around. He finds a way to keep a job. So kudos to Ross Dwelly. I don't care what nobody says. Like he finds a way to keep a job. So I don't know if we're really going to be anything different. So we'll see what happens. I think, you know how it is sometimes with these rookies. Like if somebody, I can't remember the last person they did that to, but if they feel like a rookie has potential and they don't want to lose them, all of a sudden they're going to have this mysterious injury that comes to them. Oh, this person's hurt and this and that, and they keep them on, season-ending IR. You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I don't know. I think Willis,
Mm-hmm.
he's a lock. Latu is probably a lock too, just because of his, like we always say, where he was drafted at. I feel like, and it's funny because his only weakness is his hands right now. They said, like you said, they say he blocks well. He knows how to get
Mm-hmm.
open. He uses his body well to, to catch the ball over the defenders. He's great in the red zone, but you have to hold on to the ball. And if he cleans that up, he could be a great tight end. That's his only issue. But like I said before, some people who are new, hopefully he cleans that up because, like I said, Jamar Chase was terrible his rookie year. They kept calling, and I'm not saying he's going to be like as good as Jamar Chase. I'm just saying like this Jamar Chase was a top 5 pick after being a beast at LSU, and then he came in struggling where people were like, man, he can't catch a cold. He's dropping the ball left and right. And then he showed you guys, okay, well, you know what? That was preseason and training camp. Now it's week 1. Now I'm going to show you how it really needs to be done. And he's clean, and he hasn't had any problems since. So yeah, I don't know, Miriah. It's gonna be tough. Like I said, Ross Dwelly, I'm not gonna count this man out anymore. If anybody doesn't make the team right now, if I had to pick one tight end who doesn't make it, it's Charlie Warner.
Yeah. Let's do this final giveaway for Trey Lance. Then we'll do the wheel and get out of here. Make sure you got your numbers in there because we're drawing. All right. Good luck. 10. 10, 10, 10. Who's going to get the final spot on the wheel?
It's like it's woke Niner recaps.
Mike. Mike Ing with 2 spots. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's the closest.
Yep, that's
All right. Congrats, Mike.
That just shows it's not rigged. Everybody wants to talk trash.
Well, I don't know. He just won twice, so.
Yeah, I know, but Izzy didn't win at all.
All right. So the numbers on the final wheel, we got Tanya with 1 and 3, Bebop with number 2, Mike with numbers 4 and 6, and JV with number 5.
Perfect.
Again, this is for the 2 numbered cards, Kittle and Debo. So let's get it. And remember, it's for the last person standing on the wheel. So whoever's left. Hopefully we don't screw it up this time. We appreciate you all for hanging out with us. All right. All right. Good luck, everybody. JV's the first one off. Sorry, JV. Number 1, Tanya. Tanya's off. Tanya still has number 3 left. Bebop. Sorry, Bebop. So we got Tanya, Mike, and Mike left. Tanya with number 3, Mike with 4 and 6. Sorry, Tanya. That leaves Mike as the winner. You guys couldn't even kick him off once.
I know, that's crazy. That's crazy.
Let me get this up here. This thing's bugging out. Oh my God, come on, get off.
Finally.
All right. Congrats, Mike.
And screw Jersey,
Mike
Melissa.
cleaned up today.
Playing.
4 cards, a Montana sticker. Congrats, Mike Ing. All right. Any closing thoughts? And we'll get out of here.
No, I think we covered a lot, but it's you got comments like this man's right here. Lance gonna be flipping burgers soon. Like, just show the man some respect. Like, this dude has been through a lot with his injuries and stuff like that. If you don't like him, that's fine. But why does comments like that have to come in? Like, just be like, hey, he'll be a backup somewhere else or whatever. But he's gonna be flipping burgers soon. I'm sure he's college educated, and even if he doesn't make it in football, I'm sure he'll have something else that he can do, with his career. You guys remember this guy named Myron Rowe, who used to play for, I think, the Titans. He stopped playing football. He ended up getting cut, and he ended up becoming a neurosurgeon after the NFL. So don't disrespect these guys. You guys don't know what's going on, So yeah. So that's all I got to say. But yeah, we got this preseason game coming up on the 19th against, who was it, Denver, right?
Yep.
So yeah, so we'll see how that goes.
Sam Darnold starting.
Sam Darnold starting, then
most likely get the first half. Yeah,
get the first half, and Teran Lewis get the second half. But yeah, all he has to what I want to see, other than the quarterback talk, because we all see what's going on with the quarterbacks. Let's just please have the offensive line do better. Offensive line, we need to clean that up. I'm interested to see what's going to happen at that nickel spot on corner, because what you call it? I feel like the nickel cornerback is up for grabs, man. With Oliver, like you said, Ambry Thomas, got Quantrez Knight, Womack. There's a lot of guys out here that are competing for that spot. And then let's see what that third linebacker spot does.
Yeah.
Let's see who is it going to be? Is it going to be McCrary Ball? Is it going to be Jalen Graham, who has been playing phenomenal football? Another 7th round Jim, who has came in, and so yeah, it's going to be interesting. The guy who I like the most out of the linebackers that we had coming out was D. Winters, and I feel like he's probably the one that's kind of like the odd man out right now, which still don't think he'll probably get cut, but
I thought he had a good game.
Yeah, but I think he's like, everybody else talks about McCurry Ball and Jalen Graham, but I feel like somebody like Flanagan Falls might be with that guy too, who might not make this team. So yeah, I just want to see improvement and no injuries, please.
Yeah, that was the good thing about this first game, is that there was no injuries. We got out of there with not one single injury, thank goodness. Real quick, yes, landlord, I see you. We're getting ready to get out of here, but I appreciate you stopping through. I saw that you'll catch us next time. I appreciate it. You had asked where we're from. We're in Vegas, both of us. But yeah, 49ers fans. Yeah, appreciate you stopping through. But yeah, fam, we appreciate you all. Everybody that hung out with us, that watches back on replay. We much love to you guys. Yeah, we'll see what this next preseason game has to offer. Hopefully we see some things cleaned up on all sides of the ball. Special teams, freaking offense, defense, everybody needs to step it up.
Yeah, Yeah, the
Oh,
whole
yeah, it's just
everybody as a
preseason,
whole
so
was terrible. Like Izzy brought up earlier, like the whole focus of that preseason game was Trey Lance and how he played, but man, the team as a whole was just
mhm,
terrible.
yep,
Like and so it's like it just wasn't just a bad game for Trey. Like our kicker struggled, offensive line struggled. I mean, the Raiders put 34 on us. You know what I'm saying? That's a bad game all around. So we just need to clean some stuff up. But that's what preseason is for.
yep. All right, fam. Much love. We're out of here. Me and TL will be back next week. I'll be back tomorrow with Steph Sanchez. So keep an eye out. Tune in. We'll see you then.
Oh yeah,
We're
just one thing, and one thing real quick too. If you guys are paying attention to American Ninja Warrior, I think next Monday or the Monday after, they'll be filming. They're going to be showing the episodes in Vegas, and you'll see me on there. So be looking for me, by the crowd or by the cameras and stuff like that. You're gonna see me in the backgrounds because I helped on the set for 4 days on there, so it was nice.
all right. So keep an eye out for the movie star. We'll see you later.
All right. Bye, fam.